the Legend Anthology event is back in Master Duel, only this time around, it's focused on the GX era of cards, or at least that's what it's sort of meant to be focused on. Honestly, I kind of wish they just sort of reran the last event as this one. Its card pool is a tad narrow. So much so that, from my experience, you just kind of face the same 3 decks on repeat. At least that's what I've experienced anyway. I feel like you'd have about the same amount of chance of finding a spicy deck in this event as you would finding a female in my DMs. Honestly, I really shouldn't be complaining, as at least this event means I don't have to play against Max C every game. So without further ado, let's jump into the deck list. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get to the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, so apparently about 35% of you watching this are even subscribed to the channel, meaning 65% of you haven't even clicked that button yet. So if you guys are enjoying this content and want to see more videos from me in the future, remember to leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's get into the deck list. So today's deck list is obviously going to be Dark Magician. For some reason they decided to leave this DM era archetype completely untouched for this GX era event. I don't really understand that, even if this does feature in the GX anime at some point. I don't really think a DM sort of archetype should be featured in there, but what do I know? Either way, basically, since just about every single person watching this video, I would say like 95% of you, have probably bought the Dark Magician structure deck, nearly all of you are going to be able to build this deck list very damn easily, and I know from the event, at least from my experience, everyone already knows that and everyone's already playing this deck list. So I thought I'd just show you my variant of it for you guys to want to see what I think the best sort of build is, especially in this event where I feel like a lot of people are just flooding out the board and having no actual spell and trap negation. So things like border wipes, things like Dark Hole, Raigeki, Super Polymerization is fantastic, especially in mirror matches. You just yoink their dark monsters and turn them into your dragons or whatever. I saw some people playing Blue Eyes. You can use Dark Holes, oh sorry, you can use Super Polys with your Dark Magicians to make your big dragon dude. This deck feels so goddamn good in this particular event, and there's not really a whole lot of actual competition. It's just a really free to play sort of friendly deck if you happen to have got the structure deck already. The only cards in this deck list that you may not have are cards that are not even necessary for this deck list, as all of you are going to have the Dark Magician stuff, but not all of you might have the Effect Veilers or the Super Polys, which honestly, I know I just talked big about Super Poly, but it's not needed in this deck list at all. You can play other cards like things like Forbidden Chalice or just some more back row removal, some Cosmic Cyclones. It really doesn't matter, especially considering this event. Your win rate doesn't matter, you'll still have a fine time no matter what you're playing. It's just, I think Super Poly is probably the better variant, but if you don't have it, you don't have to run it. Same goes with most of the extra deck. With cards like this, you don't need it. You don't need this card either, you don't even need Access Code Talker. And the other stuff that you hear that's ultra rare is the spellbooks, which are from, yet again, another structure deck. But even if you don't have that structure deck, you really don't even need them. Basically, just if you have the standard Dark Magician structure deck, you can build something very, very similar to this, and it'll work out just fine. Alright guys, as per usual, every single card in here will be typed out in the description down below. If there's any cards in here you don't recognize and you want to know what's in my deck list, I won't be going through every card in here individually, as I feel like everyone watching this has seen a Dark Magician video before, or a Dark Magician deck list, and I'm about to show you replays of me playing this deck list anyway, which will go through the cards there anyway. So without further ado, let's jump into some gameplay. Alright, so today I've got 2 examples to share with you guys. Unfortunately, these replays when you're playing Dark Magician are a little bit long, so it doesn't really make sense for me to show you a whole bunch of replays. The video will go for like 40 minutes, so I thought I'd just show you a couple of replays and just give you some examples of just doing some back and forth to this deck list. Alright. So keep in mind before we get into this, I'm not the greatest Dark Magician player, I just sort of play it casually sometimes just because it's a sort of fun deck. So yeah. If I do a bit of misplaying or I don't go for any particular lethals, feel free to correct me in the comments and tell me I'm garbage, because that's welcome. Alright. Alright, so we're going second in this one. It was a mirror match. Alright, so there's only one issue in the mirror match, and that is with Super Poly. Super Poly can be really good in this matchup if they don't have their face-up Eternal Soul, because Eternal Soul protects their Dark Magician from being Super Poly'd. But against like everything else, it's really goddamn good. Because like his entire deck list is super polyable if that card isn't face up. Alright, so I'm going to be special summoning out my dude, drawing a couple of cards using one of my excess super polys. then I'm going to be searching for a copy of my Dark Magical Circle. Before using Circle, I'm going to use my Soul Servant to stack the top of my deck. This means that my Circle, when it looks at the top 3 cards, will actually be able to just grab a card that I put on top, so. Alright, activating my Circle, now I'm going to grab the card I placed on top, the Magician's Salvation. And now, because I actually know what's on top of my deck, I'm going to add a copy of my Secrets of Dark Magic, because this card actually lets you stack the top of your deck as well, so I put this card on top to make sure I will get it. Alright, Spellbook of Secrets, going to be searching for my Spellbook of Knowledge. Knowledge, tributing off my monster, drawing a couple of cards. Illusion of Chaos, grabbing a Dark Magician. Putting himself back in the deck. Maybe I should put Darkhold back in the deck and kept him in hand. Either way, activating the Field Spell, getting my Eternal Soul. Then, I feel like this is a little bit troll. I use my Effect Veiler to summon out the monster, just because I think, Dark Magician doesn't really use that many effect monsters. I think this was kind of troll. I feel like Magician's Rod is a great target for Effect Veiler, and I definitely should have kept it in my hand. Either way. So I could have used this dude on field as effect. There's no real reason to keep him on here. Just a little bit extra damage. Alright. Setting my card and passing the turn. For some reason he doesn't go for his Eternal Soul yet. I don't know what he's scared of. I assume he had a Dark Magician, right? I'm pretty sure we saw him search one. Maybe didn't. Alright, so in response to his Eternal Soul, I'm actually going to activate my Eternal Soul, because in doing it in this order, where he activated first, I'm going to get the last activation of my Circle, meaning I can banish his continuous spell before it banishes my stuff. So of course he tries to pop this, because he'll pop my whole field, but because I get my effect off last, I get to remove his thing, protecting my stuff. I'm getting a draw, of course, from my Magicians. Alright, he's now going to use his draw effect from this. I assume he top decked this, otherwise this was a weird order from him. But he also had another copy of Soul Serpent, I don't know. Either way. Illusion going to be grabbing a Magician's Rod. By the way, I think we already saw that he revealed a copy of, yeah, Dark Magic Attack, which is like, oh, I know what's coming here. Grabs Dark Magic Attack. Which is a card, by the way, that I actually don't mind running in this format if you want to run this in your deck list. Especially considering a lot of people are playing Dark Magician. This is a great board nuke for it. But in this case, I'm just going to play, I think I play a couple of Twin Twisters instead, because it's a quick play, it's generally better, but I don't mind if you want to run this card. Right, so I know when my board's about to get nuked, so I'm just going to activate all my stuff beforehand. Grab out a copy of this dude, because it's going to give me a card draw when my board does get nuked. Because when Eternal Soul dies, this whole field's disappearing. This will give me a card draw from you, and a special summon of 2 monsters from these dudes. Alright, drawing a copy of Magician's Rod, very pog. Bringing back Dark Magician, and of course a Dark Magician Girl from my deck. 0.093% usage rate, by the way. Alright, he decides not to swing to the Dark Magician Girl, instead he swings that way. Pretty sure he could have gone to a Link Monster instead, but either way. I'm going to draw a whole bunch of cards from this. Draw 2. Hitting a Twin Twisters, which is fantastic for this particular situation. So he tries to use a continuous trap, we're just going to destroy that before it works, and hit him in the face, and he's very, very dead. Alright. And he's a goner. Alright, so I forget what my actual second replay was against. Forget who this was, or what it was. This might have been the... I know I played against the Blue Eyes, but I don't think I liked that replay, so I forgot who this was. We'll soon find out anyway. Alright, Scissor going first this time. So now I take my Preparation of Rites, searching for my Chaos, of course. Chaos going to be searching for my souls. Putting the Chaos back in top of the deck. Soul setting to the graveyard, summoning himself. Discarding the Darkhold, grab a Sewer Poly. Grab my Magician's Rod, searching for my Soul Servant. Soul Servant once again placing on top, same combo as last game, making sure to use the souls before I use the circle so I can choose the card that I placed on top. And also order the top of my deck, so when I activate souls, I get to choose the card I add to my hand, which in this case was a hand trap. Making sure, by the way, not to activate the field spell in the middle there, as otherwise it would have shuffled my deck before I used my souls. Or used my, yeah, my souls. Whatever it was. My soul servant, sorry. Alright, these two are going to link off into my Crowley, because this will give me my spellbook. I actually really like this. I've never used this card in DM until this event, and this feels super nice, having this little spellbook package. This reveals 3 spellbooks in your deck, gives you a prophecy or a knowledge. Send it away, draw 2 cards. Very neat little combo there to draw a bunch of cards with some stuff on field you don't really need anyway. Alright, setting a Sewer Poly and passing. It's not the greatest end field. We did end on Effect Veiler, we have a Banish from your circle, and we have Eternal Soul, of course, with Sewer Poly. Alright, this guy was playing another very popular deck in the event, because I think it's one of the structures, actually, the Cyberdark. So you'll be seeing this quite a bit. 0.088%. Yeah, loads of people playing this deck. For good reason. Alright, another good thing about this particular matchup is because I have no monsters on field, because I used that little spellbook combo there, he can't actually summon his Cyber Dragon yet. He needs to actually do other things, because I have no monsters on field. Alright, grabbing his Cyberdark, what's that called? Cyberdark Realm? I'm not used to playing against this deck, so I'm not even sure when I'm meant to interrupt. I'm just sort of going by head, or just winging it. I'm gonna Effect Veil this, because I don't want him grabbing that annoying spell card. I'm not sure if that was worth it. I probably should have waited till he did his Fusion Summon in case he went for something that was like that Cyber Dragon card that nukes my whole field, because that would have been really bad if he still had a Fusion spell in hand, or another way to grab one. I don't know, at worst I still had Sewer Poly, so I wasn't too scared, but yeah. There's an extra normal summon, 0.01, sheesh. Eternal Soul, of course, summoning out my Dark Magician, banishing not the card, I'm going to banish the back row card. So if I banish this, this will go to the graveyard and it will give him a search or grab back of a Cyberdark or something. One of the two. Something I didn't want to happen anyway. I then also troll myself because I didn't know how this worked. This card would have brought back a Dark Magician girl because I had Dark Magician on field. Because I summoned a Dark Magician from hand, but I had a Dark Magician to go on the graveyard, so that would have summoned one back. I then tributed him off in chain to summon Dark Magician's Rod, thinking it would still go off, but that's not how that interaction works, apparently. So I don't get my Dark Magician girl back, but I do get my Rod back, which was the more important card anyway. And he can seize before we even get to Sewer Poly him. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays examples. I hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.